Let's talk about Game of Thrones because of the recent, like today and yesterday's videos. Could we decipher the logical end of the story? I mean, Martin failed as a writer, absolutely. He jumped on the hype wagon, everyone got absolute plot armor who the audience liked, and he tried to surprise the audience. Yeah, this is a twist! M. Night Shyamalan style. The problem with that is he was writing the books for like 30 years, and the show went for like 10, and millions of people were watching. So accidentally even, someone will figure out that that's just inevitable. That's just how statistics works. You can still make a twist, like aliens appear and replaces everyone with dinosaurs, but that's just, random stuff. That's not the story. So to figure out what the story leads, where the story leads, not what, we need to find the basic principles the story is using to progress, to build it up. And Game of Thrones had two principles. That's easy. Figuring out stuff from it is not that easy, but we can do. So what we can do, the basic principles are: nobody is safe. If you had middle school level IQ, that's something between 100 and 120. Let's go to the higher values, 110, 120. Definitely, if you had at least 120, you could see this is like the Red Wedding and Baratown, whatever Boromir was playing, coming. That was freaking obvious. Those people are antagonists. Everybody, literally everybody. And this is a political show. This was a political show story. So you cannot survive in a high position without any friend. You have to make compromises, at least temporarily. So Boromir dying, freaking obvious, miles away. Even neutral parties were just dismissed. Oh, I am Noito, you can fuck yourself. Yeah, that's your attitude. Even if you manage to not walk into their reputation, you still need something, because this is the world of assassination, political maneuvering. You just can't flash that this is the law. You will be trampled over. Anyway, what approach can we do? I don't want to trample over Grottin. I mean, there are definitely some lifespans I say continuing was horseshit. Let's be honest, he did resurrections in such a show where the basic principle is anybody can die. Their death is final. There is no coming back. You died, you don't come back. That means you fucked up, and the wheel of time just crushed you over. So, Sansa. Oh, I'm so meek and mild. I will be the perfect wife. And rule the world. Obviously, when she committed suicide with the mutilated guy jumping off the wall, she died. That's it. Not coming back. Jon Snow. He is the character a Game of Thrones lover, fan, would love. Absolutely, I recognize the writing. He was the stepchild of the father, half outside his family, from another woman. Everybody handled him as, just a lesser in the family, but on a lesser step. Then they find the wolves, and he has the special wolf. So he's the smallest son with the special prophecy item. He even achieves great things that destined him to potentially become a king. Saved the ice wall on the north from one of the main threat of the show. Because if we want to decipher the symbolism, the first one was the song or dance of ice and fire. Ice is obvious. The ice zombies. Great. But who are the fire? The Targaryens. So Daenerys cannot win. We spend a bunch of time and she's just like nowhere and it's badly executed, but on paper I see what they were aiming for. So, when Jon Snow died, he should have been dead. Because anybody can die. Even the smallest kid with the prophecy item. Great writing. Using the principles of the story. Great. Just keep him dead. And now there are a couple of side characters. By the way, you remember the village whore? Again, great character progression. Did she have a chance? Absolutely not. When you realize she was aiming for the throne, but obviously died, you only realized she was aiming for the throne when she died. Great writing. Here, established, everybody is aiming for the throne. No matter what. Lowest of the low, highest of the high. We all want the throne. But nobody can get it. Especially not characters like the funny fat guy with the northerner chick. Or something like that. And definitely can't have the throne's characters like the fat bald eunuch or the little freak dwarf or the fairy god, whoever the crippled guy became. That's just not in the story. That's impossible. I can see him turning into a wood and symbolically uniting this ice and fire thing. In the middle there is the green tree stuff, whatever. If you want to go into the religion, sure, he can be in the next deity, whatever. But still, that's a bit problematic because we established, depending on future writing, maybe. So, yeah, maybe the book tells more about that. It's kind of problematic because the ancients were the world way back when. So, anyway, what to do with Arya? Another, she worshipped the death god. She should have been dead. When she came back and started killing everybody on her list, for realsies this time, it should have been turned out at the end that she did died when the servant of death hunted her or something like that, and in her skin there was the death god, the many-faced man. So she cannot win because she is no longer. Now, what the hippies were doing and the dogs, giving that prominent role to the fire goddess, no, that's just not. The Tyrell mouse just died. The Baratheon, the fat old king, inherited, died. The left-handed kid better runs away. It's just no. Otherwise, he will die. I don't want everyone to die. I just don't want them to get out of the picture. And the Lannisters quasi died. They had like one family member left. And as mentioned, Daenerys cannot win, but there was the Greyjoy. They didn't do that much. It was like the Martell family, but the Martell family absolutely did nothing, did not add anything to the show, to the story. But the Greyjoy were the old gods. And it's a kind of Cthulhu vibe, Lovecraftian stuff. With a good writer, we could have those kinds of themes, but obviously in the end, they die. They die too. Now, what leaves us this? Because, there was Littlefinger, obviously dies. Not that stupid way like in the show, but he dies. This doesn't leave us with very many candidates. Let's be honest. Because it's just not. Who do we have left? The dragons are just Daenerys, and her many suitors are just Daenerys, so forget about them. There are the Northernlands. They just won't. They can be army and cannon fodder, but nope. We have to integrate them into society at the end, but them being king, no. So who can take the throne? And that is the wrong question, because nobody can get the throne, because we established that we want to break the cycle. The wheel of time walks over everybody. So we cannot actually just put someone in the throne. The throne must be crushed. So we need some kind of country level reform. And to get that, we need some people outside the families. And that is again playing to Jon Snow's story, that his death was a genius, because he was kinda outside the system, but he still died. So he was still in the system. because his rights came from being at least a half-blood to a noble family. So, what to do, who remains as candidates to govern the country? And we actually do have, surprisingly, a couple. Someone who can make a dynasty, even. They are both outside, entirely outside the noble cycle. They both have great reputation, earned reputation, not inherited reputation. They were both in position, so they are not some random guy from the street. And they have experience of commanding, at least. Can you guess who? 1, 2, 3. Yep. One is Brianna Hildebrand, or whatever, Brienne the Knightess. She is a knight despite being a woman. A fighter despite being a woman. And she came from one of the lesser families, so she doesn't really have a push from the back. She definitely earned her place, fought to the very top. So when the top disappears, she can claim the throne, and everybody would give her the throne because she doesn't want it. She is a good person. She doesn't prefer any religion over the other, not even atheism like the eunuch guy. She is a capable leader, and yes, she had someone to govern with, and that is Jaime Lannister. Oh, but he's a Lannister. How can you didn't say that Lannisters are not candidate? But Jaime Lannister is, he didn't change his name, but by any other measure, he is not a Lannister. He threw away the name and any advantages it comes with when he entered the King Guards. A respected person became, after he lost his arm, a professional commander, a leader. He worked very close to a king or two. Also military leader, but can't do the military anymore. So yeah, that's another thing for the throne. And he learned and gained back his self-respect through Brienne. That's how the show should have been ended. That's the logical inevitability. Very simple. Just using the core principles.